Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. I'm so glad you're here, you guys. You know how People magazine is always in the pocket of the Harkles. It's just something we've learned to discover since, well, seeing it play out. Anyway, Newsweek has decided to jump on that bandwagon, and we're going to talk about what they're up to and what's actually going on. But first, I want to introduce my pocket journalist. I don't even know what that means. Say hello.
I have pockets.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Jay, also known as Dr. Bad Vibes. You can find me on Twitch and YouTube doing video game stuff and talking about dumb news. And speaking of dumb news,
Yeah.
here's two dumbs in the news.
Yay!
Yay.
You're as articulate as Harry. All right. Yeah, Newsweek came out with this nonsense. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle surge in popularity. Okay. All right. So I see the gaslighting continues. And you know how I feel about that word. Don't love that word, but I think it applies here. Like, again, calling the sky green, not pretending like what we all see is not happening, right? So methinks that this was planted by, I don't know, that one's wife or by WME. So let's talk about this. Yeah, so this guy, Jack Royston, who is listed as chief royal correspondent. Now, when you go through, and we will go through and look at what people are saying about this guy, sounds like he's pretty firmly team Harry and Meghan. I don't say titles, that's why I was hesitating. I was trying to think of something else to call them. Team Harold and Fraud, if you will. But, yeah, you know, I've said it before. I'll say it here. If nothing else, there's so many things that have come out of since I've started covering Harry and Meghan. So many things I've learned, and something I've really learned is, wow, they really do just pay people to print whatever, and people will. So here we are. So this guy is claiming that Meghan Markle, Prince Harry are back in America's good graces. Okay. They had a surge in popularity. All right. And they talk about how some poll. Okay, this is where I'm annoyed because it's not actually a poll. It's just, hey, referencing some poll and claiming they've had a surge in popularity. Well, I'm calling bullshit. We all have eyeballs and brains. We can see through this. And maybe the surge in popularity is based on, I don't know, people searching up what their antics are and what shenanigans they're pulling and what parking lot photos they're up to. So no, they have not had what are we doing? What are we talking about?
Yeah, I'm betting that that's exactly what it is. It's a surge in interest, not popularity.
There you go. Infamy.
Yeah, surge in infamy. The book came out, so people were probably searching about that. I mean, we saw how well it sold. I mean,
Yeah.
if they were that popular, that would have been top of the list, right?
That's true.
I mean, I guess if they had the only way I could see they could call anything a surge of popularity is if what were they? They were deep in the negative numbers before. Maybe they're slightly less negative because people are forgetting about them. That's all I can figure. I mean, I guess the most logical thing is they have a talent agency. I assume still
Yes.
WME is probably. It sounds like they're still with them, right?
Yes, I think so.
So
Not for long, but yes.
that's their job. They probably paid somebody to run an article and be, they're like, this sounds like the lowest hanging fruit. It's like, hey, let's just tell people that you're popular, and then maybe they'll be like, oh, okay, they're popular, and then they'll jump on the bandwagon.
They're appealing to sugars, you mean?
Yeah, it sounds like they're just doing the bare minimum for contractual obligations until they get rid of them, is my assumption.
Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, it makes no sense, whatever the cause.
Yeah. I would like to zoom out a little bit and put a spotlight on the fuckery that is Harold and Fraud. So they cause all this. They're horrible people. They treat the royal family like crap. Not to mention everybody else, but specifically right now, the royal family. And then they put out these articles that we've seen lately saying they'd consider a reconciliation with the royal family, right? Like they didn't cause all this mess, but they would consider it, putting out things like that, right? And now take it a step further and try to say, and also they're surging in popularity. Surge, that word, I'm stuck on that. Surging in popularity. Again, gaslighting is, I think, the perfect word for this because it's the exact opposite of what's happening. They're the shit stirrers. They did all these awful things. It's not theirs to decide if the royal family would accept them back or ever be willing to speak to them again, that sort of thing. And it's not theirs to decide if they're surging in popularity. It just, they all go hand in hand to me. So this article goes on to cite that apparently Newsweek asked 1,500 Americans what they thought of Harry and Meghan. And it says, I mean, you can read, it's just so ridiculous. First of all, what are we talking about? Where were the people polled? What were the questions on the poll? None of that is filled in. It's just this vague reference to a poll and how, wow, there must be a huge sigh of relief for Harry and Meghan. What are we talking about?
Yes, that's the most scientific way to do it. I also performed a poll. I polled all of my parents and grandparents to ask them, am I a handsome boy? And they all said yes. So
well, then that's scientific fact.
Popularity is surging. I mean, for real, though, like, even when we were in the UK, I mean, we weren't just, like, randomly like, hey, what do you think? What do you think about them? Sometimes it came up in conversation. You know, they're asking, like, why are you here? And it's kind of like, oh, well, kind of danced around it. But it led to the point, like, what do you think of Harry and Meghan?
Yeah.
I can't remember anyone saying anything that wasn't, like, extremely negative.
Yeah.
It was all, maybe one person kind of liked Harry but didn't care about Meghan.
Exactly.
I think that is the most positive response we heard in that direction.
Yes.
And again, not a scientific poll, but those were just, regular people in the UK. I mean, if you talk to anybody, if I ask anybody, like any of my friends here in the US, they're just like, who? Like, of course, I guess most guys in the US aren't exactly, we don't have our finger on the pulse on this because not everybody's got Jen, but I do, so I know what's up. So
there are a lot of lovely ganders in our group, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I'm generalizing, so don't take my poll as scientific fact. But
Newsweek will.
Yeah, Newsweek will. But I mean, really, like, everything they've done has been crazy or awful. Like, what have they done that would make people popular or perceive them as popular? Unless there's somebody that only heard about the backpacks. Like, oh yeah, they gave away those backpacks. They're great, but they haven't heard anything else, and they're just like, oh, okay.
Those are the people polled.
They only pulled people that heard that one story. That's how they did it. Mission accomplished.
There you go. I'm just stuck on this surge in popularity. So to your point, if you go from negative, I don't know, 9 million to negative 8,900,000, you get the idea. Then is that technically considered a surge in popularity? I guess so.
Define surge.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're stuck on the energy drink.
Yeah, all I can think about now is the Surge soda from the 90s. I still have a CD that came in a 12-pack.
Oh boy, that's more popular than these two.
Yeah, that gets more airplay from me than these two. But it just reeks of PR. They're just trying to, I guess, well, just to steal that word, they're just trying to gaslight people into liking them.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just like, you see it with musicians a lot. It's like, oh, hey, here's this up-and-coming band. They're, like, everybody's going nuts about them, blah, blah, blah. And then you find out, oh, the TV channel that said that owns that record label. Stuff like that. I mean, this isn't quite that obvious, but it's probably it's probably their talent agency. They have a relationship with money with a magazine, and they're like, "Hey, print this," and they're like, "Oh, okay,"
But could you imagine if your clients were called lazy blinking grifters, right? And then you have to try to spin something positive. So you're like, "Don't worry, guys, they're surging in popularity, surging."
Yeah, this just sounds like a Hail Mary, like a last gasp try at this, and trying to bury the rest of the year in the search results, I guess. Yeah. I mean, that's a very good point. Like, if they were so popular, is Spotify getting more plays?
Yeah.
Like, are they going to bring the podcast back? It's like, whoops, we made a mistake. They're not lazy grifters. They're actually hardworking superstars. And then it's like, nah.
I did find this comment here, which I find particularly funny, from Jeffrey. It says, Newsweek polling Jack Royston, the writer of the article, 1,000 times is not a real poll. It only shows us what Royston thinks. Then I went and found him on Twitter, formerly Twitter, now X, where Elena replies, hey, did Newsweek only survey Harry, his wife, and his mother? Those results are hard to believe. Yeah, we see what you're doing. We see what you're up to. It's not going to work. It's actually one of the lamest attempts I've seen at trying to convince us what we can all clearly see is not the case. But keep trying because it's fun to watch. Pathetic. I would put this on the level of calling paparazzi on yourself and then acting surprised for the camera. But being such a shitty actress, it doesn't even look surprised anymore. But anyway, that's where we're at. Guys, I am working on a New Year's video. I'm trying to think of the low points of 2023. Obviously, I know all the big ones, from being called lazy effing grifters to South Park to everything in between. But if you have one, a smaller one, that sticks out for you in your mind of low points for them in 2023, or low points of things they're doing in 2023, let me know in the comments. That'd really help. I appreciate it. And Jay, tell everybody where to find you and why you're surging in the polls or popularity or whatever.
I'm surging from a 1990s energy drink called Surge. I found an old case and drank it, and I feel weird. But really, you can find me on twitch.tv/DrBadVibes. I stream there sometimes, and it simul streams to my channel, Dr. Bad Vibes, on YouTube. And also, there's the new channel. If you haven't joined me yet, it's Dr. Bad Vibes Speaks. I talk about dumb news, and I have some funny stories. Lots of airplane stories. It's really weird. Even when I stream, what's the deal with airline food? It tastes bad. No, it's a funny thing on the stream. It's like people always ask me for an airplane story. So I'm running out. So we got to move on. I got to find something different. But yeah, on the channel, I've got some stories about. The most recent one is that we learned that the pillow fighting championship is an actual thing that exists, and it was on ESPN. I recommend checking that out because I laughed at it, but I'm also into it. So that's what I got.
And the polls say, sure, yeah, you just surged in popularity. Guys, thank you so much for being here. As more stuff comes out, I'll talk about it. I truly hope you all have the best day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.